So I have a very simple solution to finally come to maybe a conclusion that all of us will accept. Well, then again, there's those who just won't accept it, but whatever. On this whole ACC Coin confusion, potential new world currency, digital, crypto, the whole thing with Lynette and SGT report, that interview, as well as her own video she did right before that. I think that is what prompted him to reach out to her and ask about this stuff. But I gotta do a line from the movie Elf. It's very appropriate for before I get started. This is so simple too. You ever have one of those ideas that's just like, yes! Well, I had one of those ideas after I did the interview, 3 of us with, total with SGT report. Then I did my video that I said, okay, I'm going to point out the flaws and, poke holes in Lynette's thing she was saying about these cryptos and stuff that, made me think, I don't know if she knows what she's talking about, whatever. And that after that video, because I kind of did those back to back. Once I did the interview, I just went right into that video. They have a contact page on their website. And it tells you who's who, and this guy's, he's the developer, this guy created this site, he's the one handling this ICO part of the company, contact us. Here's our email address. So, what really prompted me to actually reach out, number one, go to the, did you hear it from the horse's mouth? No, we have not yet. We heard it from Lynette and SGT in their interview. His interview of her. You heard my side of the story of, I think this is nothing but an ICO company, company ICOing a couple, 2, 3 different coins, and they want to say, hey, look what we can do. We want to be the, as I've been calling it, the end-all, be-all coin that does everything. That's my stance. I stick to it. I have not received a response from them yet, by the way, because I did this at, midnight last night. But I have not received the response. And I asked, I said, hey, I'm JSnip4 YouTube channel. I am requesting if I could possibly Skype someone about the ACC coin. You can tell me, more about it. I'm an American and I speak English. I just want to make that clear, right? So I said that. Clearly, I'm writing an email in English, but I wanted to be clear that I don't speak any kind of any other language for that matter. Can we chat about this? I'm going directly to the source. Now, I have to say, Lynette said she had reached out to a contact there and has had conversation. So my question is, because her video and the one she did with SGT report, let me back up. If you're the actual company in China that's created this ACC coin amongst 2 or 3 others that they're doing one for the real estate thing, the tea leaf thing, right? These all different coins. But their main thing is the ACC coin, right? That's what they want, the end-all, be-all thing, again, in my opinion. And it certainly says kind of that when you read their site and their documents. But if you're that company, and there's somebody or somebodies, multiple people even, whatever it may be, that are suggesting to everybody else that your company is New World Order, this and that, that's bad publicity. So my thing is, if you could have simply reached out to that company to ask the questions before making all these crazy, assertions, and then going live with it on the internet, for the whole world to see, and then it's on SGT's channel, and I understand he reached out to her to ask for the interview, naturally, but now there's, 40, 50,000 views on this thing, and most people are like, oh my gosh, oh yeah, this could be it, You're kind of doing harm to that company without even having the answers yet. It's not even kind of fair to that company. When in fact, you've already said I reached out to them for some, questions and answers, and they've been responsive, and they've helped me figure out some things that I didn't know, or had questions with, whatever. That's what she said. So my question is, why don't you just go right there and ask them, hey, I've noticed you have the SDR thing, words anyways, SDR in the center of this diagram you have. We also see your source code on this one thing you got going on here, and it's got SDR and the basket of currencies in there. Whose idea was it to do that? And have you had any conversations with the IMF about this? Are they going to use you guys as a platform for something in the future? See what they say. Or were you guys just kind of showing, hey, this is what we're capable of. This is why our ICO coin is going to be that deal. I got a sneaky suspicion, and I'm hoping I can get into contact with them. I'm trying now, that's what they're going to say. We wanted to show everybody the capability of our coin. Yes, that's why we put it in there. We have not had any conversation with the IMF. We don't have a backroom deal. And I understand that you could say, well, Joe, they could be lying to you. I mean, duh, they could be hiding. And my response back would be, why would they put the basket of currencies and the SDR or whatever, that particular code, in their open source project for the whole world to see and simply come to this conclusion? Hey, why, it's right there in black and white. Why are you doing that? But like I said, my thoughts on that when I was talking with SGT and Brad was, guys, I mean, I know it's there, I see it, but again, if I'm telling the world that this is what my coin is capable of doing, I kind of need it to be in there to show everybody. Yeah, look, see, we've got code to get ready to deal with this if we can implement this kind of a thing. And I think at one point, Brad asked, I don't know if he was asking out loud to me and Sean or me or whoever. I don't know if who it was to, but he said something like, well, maybe they're soliciting to the IMF or whoever that, hey, use us. And I'm not sure if he was waiting for an answer from me or from Sean, or he was just making a statement. But I thought about it, like, yeah, maybe they are, maybe they could do that. It's certainly possible. But none of this, on their side, my side, whoever's side, we don't know because we're not the company. So here we are, coming up with ideas back and forth. Well, could it be that? Well, it might be. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they have that in there. But then again, hey, I've got, you ever have one of those ideas that's just like, yes, I'm going to reach out to them. But before I make an assertion like Lynette was, honestly, I would have reached out. I would have asked, hey, what is this, and this? Now, I might have done a video to tell everybody, hey, check this thing out. This thing could fit the bill of, New World Order stuff right here. Boy, this coin could do it. But I'm not going to make those assertions and have this kind of, sensationalized interview. Again, if you look back at that interview with, Sean and from SGT and Lynette, you could see the emotions, the sensation. It was kind of sensationalist kind of a thing. Again, I watched it again after I was done. And I'm like, yeah, I see why I felt the way I felt, and I see why people were emailing me out of control. I can see it. It's kind of sensationalist, here. It just isn't fair to the company. So you might be doing damage to that company, its reputation, etc., when no one even knows the whole story, and all you had to do is reach out to the company. If the company says, we'd rather not talk to you, reply, I would anyways. Okay, but just so you understand, there's this video, there's that video, it's not making you look good, and they're getting tens of thousands of views as the days go by. I wanted to clear this up and hear your side of this. What is this stuff? I just had some questions, but if you don't want to answer, your reputation's going down the toilet, and your silence is deafening, right? If that happened that way. That would be kind of our final reply back to them. I don't think that that's going to happen. If Lynette has reached out to somebody there, and they've been speaking with her, answering some of her questions, why wouldn't they do it for me as well? And that way I can ask these very specific questions, because I don't know that she is asking those questions, because if she was, she would have came out and said flat out, right? I mean, oh yeah, I asked them about the SDR. No. Or yes, they actually did have a conversation with the IMF, and they gave them some stuff to put it, gave them some information so that they could put it into their open source project that they didn't know. You know, they needed some information from the IMF to, you know, certain currency pairs or whatever, you know, some kind of equations or whatever. Maybe they have an API key to talk to the IMF's, you know, system, even a test system. You know, that would be like, well, okay, whoa, wait a minute. You guys have an API. They have an API, the IMF, that you guys can contact. You know, a key, and I see it in the source code. Here's your key. Whoa, wait a minute. Right? That to me would be like, okay, wait a minute. Let me insert my foot into my mouth. There's no such thing. So again, I reached out. I will keep everybody up to date. And I've got a sneaky feeling this is going to go how the other ones have gone, that I've had to call out and get poo-poo on my face for doing so, but then being right at the end anyways. And I don't know why. It's like people want the doom. We all want the doomier side, and I come out, who is a doomer at heart? I am a doomer at heart, and try to be the voice of reason. Massive thumbs down. Oh, she's far more intelligent than you ever were. If that's the case, why didn't she just simply send some emails over and ask some simple questions? I mean, that's right there on the contact page. And she's already been contacting them. Ask the right questions. Ask the hard-hitting questions. You know, this is what this is about. You might be doing damage to their company by the things you've said. You know, could you imagine if you had a company, or you're getting ready to do these things, and, for example, their tea leaf thing, whatever, got, you know, they're saying online, the things I'm reading, $15 billion US worth, you know, the equivalent of, in this ICO. This is the most incredible ICO maybe ever so far. But then they do the same thing in Texas with their other ICO with the real estate thing, and it's an absolute flop. It's today, it's the 11th, it ends today, it's over. Almost nobody got involved. 9 people last time I checked. 50 million tokens they're trying to do on that ICO. 8,500 last time I looked. Epic fail of an ICO. So why would that happen? And here's the thing. What if, you know, some video on the internet scared people away from that because, oh, that's New World Order, I don't want to touch it. All the religious people, oh, this is New World, this is Mark of the Beast, you know. Oh my God. The people in this nonsense sometimes. So that's where I'm coming from, and that's why I decided last night, you know, this company just might be very unfairly treated right now with all these accusations that could have been cleared up by simple email conversation. I'm requesting, can I do a Skype with somebody from there that, you know, speaks English and we can chat about this? That's what I'm requesting. If their answer is, well, no, we can't do it, you know, okay, can I just, you know, if you don't mind, here's several questions I want to ask, if you wouldn't mind answering them. And by the way, here's why I'm asking these questions, because there's been some pretty high controversy on the internet recently by a couple of videos about what you guys, you know, may or may not be doing, or your ultimate goals are. And to be honest, it's not making your company look good. So if you could answer these questions, I think I might be able to clear that up, and quite possibly have the videos removed by asking Lynette, and SGT Bull if what I'm suggesting is right. There's nothing to this. They've answered all the questions. They have no talk with the IMF, yada, yada, yada. They were just trying to show off their coin to say, hey, here's what we can do, like I'm suggesting. And I could be wrong, but I am definitely suggesting that. Because at that point, those 2 videos are causing harm to this company based off of the what's being spoken about and the way it's being spoken about. I will not ask to have those videos removed until I get solid response back, solid answers to these hard-hitting questions that I will be asking them. I didn't start off with the questions. I wanted to ask to Skype first. Wouldn't that be great? Because then I can upload the video to my YouTube channel. Hey, here's a Skype conversation with so-and-so from the ACC Coin you know, company such and such. And I've got several questions we're just going to kind of go over and see if, you know, what we got here. Hi, you know, introduce yourself. You know, I'll introduce them, whatever. Just like that. And maybe we can squash all this. You know, it seems like every time I do something like this where I feel like I'm, you know, doing something for the people to protect them from being led astray possibly, and saying, you know, hold on, but don't do that yet. Wait. They come 250 thumbs down, Joe. She's smarter than you'll ever be. When I've had to call somebody out so to speak, and I've done this probably 4 or 5 times in my YouTube career, I'm just going to tell you, I haven't been wrong yet. I study what's happening. I'm listening to what they say. I don't just instantly jump the gun. I do some research. This is wrong. No, this isn't happening. I need to say something about this. I don't want people being led astray. It kills me to see that happening. That's why I have done what I have done here, by essentially calling out some of the stuff she said in the video. We already discussed that. Reaching out to Sean SGT, hey, can we do an interview? I'm not sure I liked where that whole thing went with Lynette, and I think there's another side to this, that kind of thing. He was gracious enough to have me on with Brad. He's a software engineer for Intel. He too has his own coin, Precious Coin, that is essentially what he was saying is kind of, if the ACC coin is the evil twin, his is the good guy. It kind of does the similar kind of a thing. So that's what he's working on. But anyways, so we had an interesting conversation. It was pretty inconclusive, of course, because we still had the same data we had before. Which is why, again, part of the reason I reached out to these people for comment. But more importantly, we need to know the answers to some of these questions, specifically from the horse's mouth. Because once the horse's mouth gives it to you, I might be coming out here saying, you know what? They did, in fact, have a conversation with the IMF. And the IMF was very open and very happy and pleased with what they were doing and wanted to, stay in touch and work with them in some... Oh, whoa. At that point, now we've got something. And I come out and say, Lynette, forgive me for my filthy sins. Your speculation was spot on. You got it right. And I would apologize deeply. We will see what happens. I'm hoping they reply. I'm hoping I can get a Skype. If I can't get a Skype, I will just simply say, hey, do you mind, answering the following questions? And I'm going to say in there, because your reputation's kind of on the line here, and believe it or not, I'm the one that's trying to be the voice of reason on your side. So it would be in your best interest to answer these freaking questions. I don't know if I'd say it like that, but you know what I mean. To try to get, the answers. I don't see why they're going to hide, not. It's in their source code. Some of the stuff, is in their source code that anyone can look at, right? It's been there for 2 months. They haven't changed the source code. They haven't done anything with it. It's no updates. It's just sitting there. It was quickly put together. Let's get this together to please people and make us look big and bad, and get the source code's not even fully functional and all, It's just, again, I think this is a big fat nothing burger ICO company that wants to be the big dude in the crypto arena, but we will find out. Fingers crossed that I get a response. Double fingers crossed that I actually am able to pull off a Skype interview. And I'm here to tell you, if they say, well, the only time we could do this is 3 p.m. my time, or noon, I will go home for lunch and do that interview, Skype, and then drive my sorry butt back to work just to make it happen. I won't say, well, I can only do the weekends, or I can only do after 6 p.m. No. I will go home in a hurry, take my lunch at whatever time you need me to be there to get that interview going. Because it just needs to be done, right? Would you agree? Then we will see what the actual answers are, and we can all take it down a few notches and say, you know what, here's what happened. Good or bad, right? So, the people's people, man. I'm Jason at 4. I'm trying to look out for the people. That's why I do these things. That's it. And I can get a little amped up and aggravated. I'm human, just like everybody else. And I felt like I did have a little reason to be a little bit amped up, When you look at, go watch the video again and see how your emotions feel as you see her body language, her tone of voice, Sean, kind of feeding into it too. And it's like, oh, whoa. But, Sean's a great guy. I love Sean, man. Lynette's highly intelligent lady. I don't dispute that. But I just think they are on the wrong viewpoint on that. But we'll find out. I'll get the answers as best I possibly can, and I will keep you informed. Take care, everybody. Have a good Friday.